Here to set the record straight himself, the current Secretary of State, Pete Hegseth, former host right here on Fox and Friends. Pete,
hey,
great
Brian.
to see you, Mr. Secretary.
Great to see you.
So your thoughts on what's been reporting of Team Huddle and the Signal chat that the New York Times says took place between you, your wife, and your brother and some others?
So, Brian, if you remember when this all started.
Wait. Former
Secretary, the current Secretary of State.
Oh, shit. He knows, bro. He knows. What does he know? Brian, why did you do that? Oh, busted, dude. Busted.
Team Huddle. Here to set the record straight himself, the current Secretary of State, Pete Hegseth, former host right here on Fox and Friends. Pete,
hey,
great
Brian.
to see you, Mr. Secretary.
Great to see you.
So your thoughts on what's been reporting of Team Huddle and the Signal chat that the New York Times says took place between you, your wife, and your brother and some others?
So, Brian, if you remember when this all started, the first go-around, because this is the second go-around, right? They peddle old stuff, they kick it back up. I said repeatedly, no one's texting war plans. You know why I said that? Because I'm in the bowels of the Pentagon every single day. Just 10 minutes ago, I was looking at actual war plans of things that were ongoing or pending things to happen, because that's on a regular basis on classified systems. That's my job for the war fighters, for the President of the United States. I look at war plans every single day. What was shared over Signal, then and now, however you characterize it, was informal, unclassified coordinations for media coordination and other things. That's what I've said from the beginning. At the beginning, it was left-wing reporters from The Atlantic who got a hold of it and then wanted to create a problem for the president. This is what it's all about, trying to get at President Trump and his agenda. Now, here at the Defense Department, because, Brian, I want this to be very clear, we take the classification of information very important. It's very significant to us that we safeguard it. And so when we had leaks, which we have had here, we did a serious leak investigation. And through that leak investigation, unfortunately, we found some folks that we believe were not holding to the protocols that we hold dear here at the Defense Department. Through that investigation, they have been moved on, and that investigation continues. As a result of that, everything we do here is above board, trying to make sure that we safeguard information. In this point, those folks who were leaking, who have been pushed out of the building.
I feel like Batman or Halo. Thank you for the 7 gifted subs. A real warfighter in the chat. Mister, I feel like Batman or Halo. RIP to a real one.
Are now attempting to leak and sabotage the president's agenda and what we're doing. And that's unfortunate. It's not what I do. It's not how we operate. And so you've got...
Bro, there is something incredibly ironic about complaining about leakers when the reason why you're in trouble is because you seemingly have no interest in stopping the dissemination of classified intelligence to people who do not have a security clearance. Like, what do you mean? You're the whole ass leak, big dog, which I like. I personally like that.
Got another allegation being pushed again, not based on how we're operating around here. We're for the warfighters, we're for the president, and none of this is based in reality.
So, Mr. Secretary, I guess I can conclude this. We know some bizarre situation with Michael Waltz happened with the first time the whole thing with the Signal app came out. You believe this came out, they said it was called Team Huddle, because one of the people who work for you, one of the 3 who no longer are there, leaked this out as a way to get back at you?
That's right, Brian. When you dismiss people who you believe are...
Okay. Yeah, that doesn't matter. Like, what matters is why you are having these conversations with your fucking wife, dude. On your personal phone, on your private Signal app. What do you mean? Oh, I can't believe like a disgruntled former employee outed me. It's like, it's so stupid. This is not a defense of anything. Seamus had a funny take about this. He said, you really do get the impression that Hegseth fully expected to slip into the role of a respected Secretary of Defense, but instead he's still just him, an alcoholic Fox News host whose slip-ups are now under the magnifying glass of the entire world.
leaking classified information. And again, the investigation is ongoing, and that will take time. And when the evidence produced, it will go to DOJ.
He's like, yeah, I never believed in magic until I saw my dogs turn into snakes, dude. This is fucked up. Oh, you think you know a guy, and then you bring him into the Defense Department, and then he gets fired, and then he's disgruntled, and all of a sudden he's leaking all these secrets about me leaking state secrets, which who's the bigger leaker here, Pete? You are.
DOJ, why would it surprise anybody, Brian, if those very same people keep leaking to the very same reporters whatever information they think they can have to try to sabotage the agenda of the president or the secretary? So once a leaker, always a leaker, often a leaker. And so
It does feel like he's talking about himself here. Given why he's even having this conversation is that he's leaking state secrets to people that should not be hearing state secrets. It almost feels like he's saying this is an admission where he's like, once a leaker, always a leaker. I'm not going to stop. I will never stop. Okay? Put a fucking fifth of whiskey in me and I'm going public. Okay? I'm telling you about Area 51. I'm telling you about our attack plans. I'm telling you Israel's got nukes. I'm telling it all. I'm unstoppable. This is what I like to do. Whiskey Pete. Leaky Whiskey Pete. That's what they called me.
We looked for leakers because we take it very seriously. And we will do the investigation. Right. And if those people are exonerated, fantastic. We don't think, based on what we understand, that it's going to be a good day for a number of those individuals because of what was found in the investigation. So if they want to keep leaking and pushing and peddling things that try to sabotage the president's agenda, that's unfortunate. But that's how leaking works in this town. We're focused on recruiting, on rooting out DEI, on securing our southwest border, on the president's agenda, and it's going very well at the Pentagon, and I'm proud of it.
Right. So the Signal app is what everyone uses. We're all finding that out now because of the Chinese have infected and sabotaged, gotten involved in almost every other communications apparatus over the last 4 years. So that's where you're communicating. You say it took place, but there was no classified material in it.
I think it's so funny because I know for a fact that Brian Kilmeade is more intelligent than Pete Hegseth. Now, this isn't saying much because Pete Hegseth is a fucking baboon, right? So I know for a fact that he's sitting there thinking, I cannot believe that the Trump administration got our weekend correspondent to become the Secretary of Defense. What the fuck were they thinking? Of course, this is going to be catastrophic. Like, remember, Pete Hegseth was the weekend correspondent for their fucking show. Okay? And now he is the Secretary of Defense. Like, you think they didn't know that he was unqualified? You think Brian Kilmeade, you think he doesn't know that Pete is unqualified for this position? He knows. He knows Pete is unqualified for even Sean Hannity's position at Fox News. Like, think about that.
Over the last few days, your senior advisor, Dan Caldwell, Darren Selnick, Colin Carroll, who is your chief of staff, deputy secretary of defense. The other one, Darren, is now former deputy chief of staff, will let go. Did you let them go?
Right. It was a result of an investigation ongoing at the Pentagon where we identified there was sufficient evidence, potentially, again, there's an investigation ongoing that will have to complete itself, sufficient evidence to believe that they or others near them were party to leaking. And then I have a statutory responsibility, Brian, if I believe that's the case, to ultimately ensure they no longer have access to that and that the investigation commences. There are a lot of ways to communicate in this building. I do it every day. I was just doing it this morning. Official channels by which we communicate classified information. If you want to do it and do it the right way, you should. If we think you are leaking to the press.
Who are you talking to? Are you talking to yourself, Pete? It's just so strange that it feels like he's talking about a totally separate guy who's the Secretary of Defense.
That's a very real problem. We take that very seriously at the Pentagon.
I don't understand. You're in trouble because you leaked, dumbass. The fuck do you mean? Oh, these other leakers are the real enemies of the state. Like, doesn't he realize that when he talks about this, it almost feels like he's talking about himself to the average person? Because to the average person, they don't give a fuck who actually was the one who went to the New York Times with the story. The average person goes, why is the Secretary of Defense communicating attack plans to his fucking wife on Signal? You're the OG leaker, big dog. It's way. Okay. I'll say it like this. If you had not done this thing, right, that you are in trouble for, and instead someone from the people that you hired went out and released state secrets, I would still be on board with that. I love leaks, but I understand why you could at least entertain this position. Like, oh, it's really fucked up that this guy that I hired was a disgruntled former employee that turned around and released state secrets to the fucking lying press or whatever, right? Like fake news media. Yok, üçte. Like that's, but you're the one who initially, the entire point of contention here is that you leaked information. You leaked this information. So now, whenever you talk about leakers and punishing them, it kind of feels like you're talking about yourself. Having said that, however, I do think that we are getting dumber and dumber.
Do one job.
One
job for the president and the American people. Secure the country. America first. Peace through strength. I don't have time for leakers. I don't have time for the hoax press that peddles old stories from disgruntled employees. We should be talking about the decimation of the Houthis, how we're pushing back the Chinese, how we have a new defense area at the southern border. Instead, disgruntled former employees are peddling things to try to save their ass.
Did you?
And ultimately, that's it's not going to work.
Mr. Secretary, did you find this out, or did they come to you? Because I know you know these guys. Like these are the guys you picked, especially Caldwell, and they worked for you for your previous job before you got over to Fox. And they said that they have not been asked about their phones. They weren't asked about communications. They didn't go through. They didn't take a polygraph. So why would they be let go and not be investigated?
Well, Brian, when there were a series of serious leaks at the Pentagon, which there were, Panama Canal plans, Elon Musk's visit, you name it, any number of things, and there's 4, 5, 6, 7 things. We said enough is enough. We're gonna launch a leak investigation, which we did, which was then handed over to OSI, which is the special investigators here at DOD. Right. Through that investigation, information was surfaced, which created a responsibility to take action. That's how it works when you when you actually investigate leaks, Brian. So it's easy to say, oh.
It doesn't feel like you do, because if you did, you would investigate your leaks, as in what you did. This doesn't make any sense. It's like, Brian, it takes a real leaky faucet to know when someone is a leaker, okay? That's why I, in this 5D chess move, accidentally sent text messages to my wife and my lawyer without security clearance about America's attack plans in Yemen. You understand? I had to become the leaker myself to understand what it takes, the depravity, to become a leaker of state secrets. That's right. I am what you call a white hat leaker. I believe he's telling the truth about not knowing who the leaker is. Memory loss is common when you're blackout drunk after all. I love how fucking stupid he is, because I think it's awesome that the Secretary of Defense is a dumbass who is going to keep doing shit like this, okay? It's great. I hope they don't fire him.